guys, it's the kid, 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 it's the kid. Back in here, back in here, back in the game, back in the game, back in the game here for the weekly. Well, we're back in here weekly because obviously things get tight. Obviously, with the football season coming back and everything, things get tight. But I'm still trying to be keeping these Wednesdays whenever I can for movies, movie Wednesdays, where every Wednesday it is a complete and total back and forth movie discussion. That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to break through. So we're going to, first of all, shout out to everyone in there. Hopefully you're safe. Hopefully you're good. Hopefully you're feeling good. Hopefully you're feeling great. Hopefully you're eating healthy. That's the key thing. To eat healthy is very key. So I think, so for this one, we are going to be talking about Tenet, the delay of Tenet, cinemas. How can cinemas say what's up in this whole COVID-20 flipping era, this whole COVID nonsense, and Pirates of the Caribbean? About your boy Johnny Depp getting replaced for Margot Robbie, and how that could work or not work, you know. So those are already the main things, and obviously afterwards we'll maybe take it back and forth, and we'll be out of here by around 8:15. So first up is Tenet. Let me just bring up that whole thing right now. So first up here is Tenet. So now, this film was originally supposed to come out next month. Well, this month. I think it was supposed to come out I think July 17th or somehow this month. So that's when it was supposed to be coming out. But because, and this is where I think that get dicey. So Nolan has come out and he has said that this film is made for the cinema. He does not want this film to be on demand or for the small screen. And because it's almost two things. First of all, it's, you know, it's a cinematic experience, and the best place to view things are in the cinema. Imagine if the first time you saw The Fellowship of the Ring or any of the Lord of the Rings films, you viewed them on a small screen, on like a small TV. That would be horrible. That would be completely and utterly horrible. So he wants the first time you see this film to be a cinematic experience, but also as well, this is very expensive. I believe this film was about 200 mil. So this film was about 200 mil. So a lot of money has been spent on this film. It's a very expensive film. Numerous locations, massive set pieces. So you have to put that in a cinema and put that in IMAX, which is why they have said that, you know what, we're going to try and delay this. So we're going to delay this till August. And this is the crazy thing, because again, like, we don't know what's going to be happening this month. Not everybody's out of lockdown, and I think even as I go out into the streets and so forth, and I see people, I think people are still not sure whether we're on lockdown or we're not on lockdown yet. So basically, I think basically I can only speak for England. I don't know about anyone else, but you know, in the UK, whenever I'm in the UK, because I'm normally based on Mars, but whenever I'm on Earth and in the UK, July 4th is when public places will be open. But I don't know whether that pertains to cinemas. But I think, you know, just first, before we go into the whole cinema thing, I think, you know, for where Nolan is concerned, he is like, look, man, no matter how long it takes, I want to wait until cinemas are open. I do not want this film to be viewed on a small screen. And I think any kind of self-respectful director, filmmaker will be like, no. I worked hard on this film. And the way I filmed this film was for the big, massive screen experience. And not everybody has the, what was it called? Not everybody has like a massive screen or like a home cinema, man. So no one has that, man. So because nobody has that kind of massive, huge screen, like home cinema stuff, you don't want this thing to be on a small little laptop screen, because imagine if you happen to watch like Tenet, this huge, amazing film with massive set pieces, like on a small screen. That would be horrible. So I get where this dude is coming from. You know, I see guys that I'm going to get Machine back here soon, man. But I think he's just been busy. But we'll do a top 10 with Machine soon. So yeah. So, and for me, it's like, look, I still have my um, misgivings about Tenet with regards to. First of all, I mean, to put it this way, it is good though that I don't know exactly what Tenet is about, and I have not tried to read too much into it. But I do think that the fact that I don't know what it's about makes it even much more interesting. And for me, which is why me personally, because I'm a cinephile and I'm really into films, I wouldn't want the first time I watch Tenet to be on a small screen. And for me, I told you, I have an alright home cinema system. I mean, alright. I mean, I've got like surround sound, Dolby, pretty good TV, but I want to see this in the cinema. And if a filmmaker says that this film was intended for the cinema, I have a much more respect. But you know what? I want to view it where you have it. And also, it doesn't matter how big your TV screen is or anything. Nobody has a TV screen as big as an IMAX screen. I don't know how many of you guys have been to IMAX. The IMAX experience is incredible. And that cannot be replicated there is no house anywhere that can replicate the IMAX cinema, because literally the screen is massive and the speakers are massive. So you can only go to a specific complex to watch this kind of stuff. And I think for this, and which is the similar thing with that's what I did with the Dark Knight. So on the opening night of the Dark Knight, me and my family, we went to the IMAX to watch it. And even if the film wasn't as good as I hoped it would be, that was an amazing experience. Not only because of how big the screen was, the sound, but also watching it with people. And there was just something about watching it with people, experiencing it with fans in a massive screen with the crazy sound. That is just something that is unique, which is why the cinema experience is so very special. And I mean, we'll even get to it right now. It's like, so and this is what I've even been thinking about. We're living in a new world. COVID-19 has ushered in a totally new world that we're in right now, where everything is changing. Like almost any shop you go to has like a screen. Like, what's it called? I went to even on my higher road, like my Chinese shop, they have like a screen there. So, and they tell you about all of the different procedures they have. So almost every shop right now coming through will have to have specific health and safety preventative features to stop the spread of COVID. So it's a new world. So I said to myself that with regards to cinemas, you might be seeing totally different, like cinemas will have to change their seating plan. Because I don't know whether August or September, even in August, because now Tenet is supposed to come out in August. I don't know whether like come August, people will still be able to go en masse, or government will allow people en masse to enter into a cinema. I don't know whether that will happen, because I don't know how long it will be before people allow public gatherings. Because again, look, we like with regards to football and everything, or even basketball, we won't be able to have sporting crowds till next year. So my thing though is that we may have a situation where if you go to the cinema right now, the seats will not have to be spaced out. We now have to have spaced out seating, which is wild, which will be wild. And for some cinema complexes, that would cost a lot of money to completely change their seating plan. So take away all those seats, put in all those seats, because they're like, no, these are not health and safety features, So it's because already so many cinemas have already gone out of business. Same thing with pubs, because there's cinemas rely on day-to-day revenue, not monthly revenue, day-to-day. So I don't even know how many cinemas can even survive. But for cinemas that now come back and be like, okay, now this is the new way that we're now doing this stuff, it's going to be like, really? Can you write? So it's going to be interesting to see how cinemas will exist and if ever cinemas will come back. Because for me, like, I am a massive cinema dude. And yeah, I like watching films at home, but watching films in a cinema is an amazing experience. I always say to people, like, again, one of my best experiences was Fellowship of the Ring. Fellowship of the Ring was a flipping amazing experience. Same thing with what's it called? Avengers Endgame. Like, Endgame was easily one of my best cinematic experiences. And so you can't have that Endgame experience at home. So whether cinemas will come back or not, I have no idea. I have no idea, because if you're saying that we can't have public gatherings in stadiums and so forth, How can you have public gatherings in cinemas? And what will cinemas look like if you can only allow like 10 or 15 people in there? On if you have 15 people in there, they all have to be spaced out, as we see in all of this sports stuff. But it will be a shame, because to lose the and for me, and I miss that, And for me, like, see, Tenet is the film that I want to see. Dune, that is the film I'm looking forward to the most, which comes out in December. So if you tell me that I won't be able to watch any of these films in a big, massive crowd, that would suck. That would be completely and utterly crap, man. So, oh gosh, man. So this, so you always want me to bring this in, man. Was it? Yeah, no. Basically, no. The top 10 series is going to come back. I think basically because of football season coming back, it's been very hard to schedule all of this stuff. So my time has been, again. See, Thursday is normally the whole top 10 series, but because of the football season coming back, it's been very difficult to bring that in. So now I want to address this. Now, this is the other thing that I wanted to address, which is Pirates of the Caribbean. So you see, let me just say this, right? Let me just even begin with this. I was never a big fan of this series of films. I never was. I thought that they were made for kids, obviously. They were made for a younger audience, specifically the Disney audience. And even for me, look, I like stuff that's like PG and stuff like that. But I just think that this film specifically, it was aimed at an audience that had completely and totally nothing to do with me. So I was never a Pirates of the Caribbean fan. See, I watched one of the films. I think it was the third film, the one with, I think it was the one with Chow Yun-fat. I watched one of the films in the cinema, and that was because it was just a friend's event. So my friend wanted to go, so just went as a group. But I didn't actually have never gone to watch a film of this individually. But that being said, these films literally exist, and the only reason why they're successful is because of Johnny Depp. I think people forget that even if Oscars don't mean much, he was nominated for an Oscar for his performance in the first film. He is the franchise. And I think, you see, the thing is almost a commentary about Johnny Depp. You see, so way back when, like at the very beginning, near the start of Johnny Depp's career, he did a film with Marlon Brando. I can't remember the name of the film, but he did this film with Marlon Brando. And Brando said that this dude is going to be the next great actor. So once a guy like Brando christens this dude and says, this guy is the next big thing, everyone was like, all right, Johnny Depp is going to be that dude. So people were watching him very closely. And I think what I found out about Johnny Depp, and I think what most people have found out about Johnny Depp, is that he wasn't that great actor that Marlon Brando said he was. But he is very talented, and he isn't afraid to do very eccentric kind of roles. You see, whenever Johnny Depp plays the straightsman, whether you want to look at Blow or Donnie Brasco, he isn't really that good. And I don't think he does stoic well. But if you look at Edward Scissorhands, Ed Wood, Pirates of the Caribbean, Willy Wonka, Demon Barber of Fleet Street, Sweeney Todd, he is really good at those. So strange, weird, odd roles that really sort of stretch himself. He's really good at those roles. And I think that's just what people have found. So he isn't the kind of Gary Oldman kind of dude where Gary Oldman can do anything. Literally, give him any role he can do and enter into anything. But if you give Johnny Depp the right kind of role, he is really good at that. And I think for this role that he does in Pirates of the Caribbean, it's like, yeah, this is just Johnny Depp at his very best, and nobody does weird or kooky like him. And literally, he even said it himself that the role he had, I even forgotten the guy's name. It was based off that dude from Rolling Stones, the guitarist from the Rolling Stones. So that's what he based it on. But that was just like an inspiration. But really, it was a very specific creation. And even when you watch the films, the most interesting thing, the thing that you're drawn to, is him. It's amazing effects, really well directed, really, really good effects, but it's drawn towards him. Because I think, yes, it's Gore Verbinski, is the director, because he also did oh gosh, it was the animation cartoon. There's an animation cartoon that he did where he plays like a lizard thingy or something. Rango. Rango, really good watch. If you guys haven't seen it, watch that thing. Rango is is it on Prime? Rango is really, really good. So look now, this whole thing started off because of this whole thing with his girlfriend or something, who basically went a bit crazy and on cycle, and now they want to go in a different direction, and that's why they're trying to bring in Margot Robbie to do a female-centered Pirates of the Caribbean. This makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like, it makes no sense because when someone is that good, the smartest thing to do is to do a spin-off. That's the thing, because Johnny Depp is so good in this. He's so much the face of this. He so totally stole the show and made the franchise his own. It is almost impossible to follow him. It's almost impossible to follow him. So the best thing to do is it's almost as if someone. It's similar to, like, let's say they were doing like Dark Knight Rises, and they wanted to now recast the role of the Joker after what Heath Ledger did. First of all, him dying is weird, but even beyond that, you're like, how do you follow that? Because he's so maxed out. How do you follow that? You just have to just go something totally different. So this whole and again, it goes to this whole stupid thing of like female center, because you see what they're trying to do is, because Margot Robbie is a talented actress. Let me say, she is a talented actress. She is good, but they're trying really hard to make her a superstar. And I think they just don't want to accept that a film that she produced, she engineered, she led, Birds of Prey, was a flop. They just don't want to accept it. So they're like, no, we will not accept that Birds of Prey was a flop. We're going to go again and do this. And the thing about this is that, see, it's two things. The first thing is Margot Robbie will not be able to do a performance as iconic as Johnny Depp. Not. It is one of the most iconic performances in terms of its popularity and so forth over like the past 10 years or so. So you will not be able to follow that. That's the first thing. Second thing is Johnny Depp has a lot of very passionate fans, specifically one woman. And the thing about it, when you have hardcore female fans, that is very hard to go through. That is very hard to go through. And a lot of people will say, wait a minute, you're going to replace Johnny Depp and just act like if he does not exist? So, but even beyond that, I think the bigger thing than that is, why does it need to be female-centered? Was the original Pirates of the Caribbean, was it male-centered? No, it wasn't. It wasn't male-centered. They didn't say, oh, this is a male-centered Pirates of the Caribbean, so now we now have to do why do we... Same thing with Ghostbusters. Why did we need a female version of the Ghostbusters? It's like, it didn't make any sense. It made no sense because again, so I go to, you're following a classic. You're coming off the heels of a 100% bona fide classic. And this is where, you now have agenda merchants. It's what they are. They are full-on agenda merchants. And these agenda merchants, they want to enforce female representation. I even speak for myself. This is what I've always said, that I don't want a white character to be turned black. I don't want that. Or what I've always wanted is give a black creator a role. So sorry, be a black creator the chance to let them create something from the ground up, totally organically. So with Ghostbusters, you're like, who asked for a female version of Ghostbusters? Why? For what? For what reason? It makes no sense. And I just think again, because it is doomed to fail, because these Pirates of the Caribbean films, they weren't carried. They were not carried by how good the films were. The films were okay. Let's keep it real. Those films were not great. They were okay. Yes, they had amazing. Okay, the special effects were superb, but those films were okay. The success of those films was about your boy Johnny Depp. And even for me, who I didn't really like the films, I was like, oh, like, look, this is a very entertaining performance. I'm very entertained by him, and this is a really interesting character. And for me, Margot Robbie is incapable of creating a character that is as interesting or as exciting or as magnetic as what Johnny Depp did. Because I said again, Johnny Depp, I believe he's overrated. He's not as good as what people think. Give Johnny Depp the right role, he can be amazing. Again, like people say, okay, his best performance. For me, I would argue this is probably one of his best performances. I'll give you that. Like, if you think of his best performances, you got to look at Edward Scissorhands. I thought he was really good in Ed Wood. I think he was basically almost all the Tim Burton films is when you see him at his best. So Edward Scissorhands, Ed Wood, Sweeney Todd, Willy Wonka. That dude was damn weird, and I thought that he was very creepy in it, but it was creepy in the right way. But I would argue this must actually be one of his best performances. What he did here. So the decision makes no sense. But the thing that just boggles my mind is, why don't you make a spin? Why don't you want to make it a spin-off? Why does it have to be, oh, it's a continuation? And this thing, I want to give you guys first. Why does it need to be female censored? Why? For what reason? Why does it need to be female censored? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense, man. So look, as I said again, look, I was never a fan of Pirates of the Caribbean. It really doesn't bother me. So, because I was not going to watch the film with or without Johnny Depp, but I just do think that it is quite problematic how desperate some of these people are with regards to trying to get their agendas out. So, guys, let me take your cues, man. Let me take your cues and see what you guys are about. Did anyone watch Birds of Prey? You see, for me, as soon as I saw the trailer for Birds of Prey, I was like, I'm good. Because see, when you look, and I look, Birds of Prey is something particular, which is cool. But be clear of what you are. Birds of Prey is not a comic book movie. Birds of Prey is a chick flick. It's a chick flick that's showing. Wasn't Black Mask gay in it? I think it was. So the main villain in Birds of Prey is effeminate and gay. It's a chick flick showing how useless men are and how amazing women are. For me, I'm not that interested in watching a film with like girl power and showing how useless men are. That's just me. So it's not happening, man. I think that the governments are going to give the cinemas loans to stay running. They have to. They need help. The cinemas need help. And for me, society needs cinemas. They need them. And what I believe that you're going to, it may be even happening now. I think what you're going to be seeing is cinemas are going to change. So they're going to introduce social distancing setups for cinemas. So the way that and I'm afraid that I don't know how expensive that will be. So 100% they'll say you can't enter the cinema without having a face mask. So you have to enter with a mask, and we're gonna change the seating plan. So maybe even, what they may even do is that, because sometimes in some films are not really like booked up. So they'll say, you know what, we have like 300 seats, only 100 people can come through. And when you come through, you must leave like 5 spaces between the next person that you sit to. So obviously, if you come with like a partner, that's all cool. But for you, with people that you don't know, You must leave 5 spaces between you and them. And we're only going to allow like 100 people inside this cinema that can sit 300 people. And I think that is the best way that I think that they can do it without having to spend money on renovating everything. But yeah, because you won't be able to allow cinemas that are fine, man. Johnny Depp, he is. he is the franchise. When you think of Pirates of the Caribbean, who talks about Orlando Bloom? Who talks about that other English chick? No, and no one does. Like he is. So it's almost because I remember when because I don't know how this can even make money without joining Johnny Depp. Because what's made this popular? Because remember, if you say Pirates of the Caribbean, the only people that were going to go and watch it were like, okay, kids, because it's a Disney film, and it's another Johnny Depp film. But what made it popular was people talked about how amazing his performance was, and just how amazing his character was. So that is why the sequels made so much money, and it became a franchise. It only became a franchise because of Johnny Depp's the character. So so replacing him is stupid, because people will say, "Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean starring Margot Robbie." What? Who? And trust me, and because the proof is in the pudding. Birds of Prey. This is a comic book movie. It's a comic book movie. Okay, it may not be well-known character, but it's a comic book movie, and I think Harley Quinn is a very popular character. So the fact that a film starring Harley Quinn, a comic book movie in the popularity of comic book movie, flopped. What makes you think that this one would flop? What makes you think that this one flop? It doesn't make any sense. Do you rate Schindler's List as a film, and is it one of the greatest movies ever made? It isn't one of the. It isn't one of the greatest films ever made. No, it's not. It's a very good film. No, for me, see, Schindler's List is. You see, I'm not going to give extra kudos to films that deal with serious subject matter. I will always look at a film based on how good are you as a film. I don't care when they're talking about racism on the Holocaust. How good is a film? And see, Schindler's List is a really well-made film. It is definitely one of Spielberg's best films, but it's not a film that I put very high. So it won't crack my top 20 films of all time. It probably wouldn't even crack my top 30 or top 40, because I can name you 30 films better than Schindler's List. Just better made, better story, better narratives, better performances. But what else about Schindler's List, though, is that the performance by Ralph Fiennes in that film as a Nazi, that was an incredible performance. Because I think that was the same year that what's his name? Tommy Lee Jones won for The Fugitive. And for me, I felt Ralph Fiennes gave the better performance. But I get why they gave it to Tommy Lee Jones, because Tommy Lee Jones was the more fun thing. And I think because Hollywood is very Jewish, I don't think they wanted to give an Oscar to a guy playing a Nazi. So that's the thing, man. So why are the studios not making original new female movies? Instead, they want to copy movies with the male leads. It's a tactic. And it's a very stupid tactic. I'll tell you why. So I want to get female representation. I want people to come in and watch watch these female-led films. If I now make a totally original film that doesn't have an inbuilt fan base, will people come? Unlikely. Because I would say, there's a film called The Super Wild Hats starring all these females. I'm like, Super Wild Hats, what is that? Nah, I'm cool. Everyone knows Star Wars. Everyone knows The Matrix. For instance, imagine if they said, okay, we're making a new Inception film. But for this new Inception film, it's going to be all females. So because Inception was such a popular film that was loved by so many people, it is more likely that people will now be forced to watch this thing with women, as opposed to if you were not to make a film that did not already have an inbuilt fan base of people that already love the film. But the problem that people are going into is they keep trying it and it keeps failing. And they tried it with Ocean's 11, where like there was a thing called with Ocean's 8 with Sandra Bullock and so forth. But the issue with that is, okay, yes, Ocean's 11 was a popular franchise and so forth. But why do I want to watch a film starring Sandra Bullock? Like, why? And I think people are now wising up to it. And I say that, okay, no, you're trying to force the issue. This is an agenda that you're going through here. And if you do that and you're coming from a very ungenuine place, you are always going to fail. You are always going to fail, man. That's the thing. I mean, you're always going to fail. You're always going to fail. Do women even like these female pandering films? No, they. This is the thing that people don't get. Women like certain kinds of films. Certain kinds of films. Women don't give a damn about Star Wars. They don't. They don't give a damn about huge action films. They don't. Women care about Titanic, The Notebook, or these huge Marvel movies and films. That's what they care about. But women en masse are not going to rush to watch a comic book movie starring all women. Then they're not, because women are don't care about comic book movies. They care about dramas and romantic films. That's their MO. That's what they're into. That's what they're into. So unless you give them that, they're not going to be supporting things. So those things. So and see, that's the thing is like, see, the way you pander to a female audience is you give them what they want. What they want are romantic films, dramatic films that deal with reality. And so when I say with women, not all women, but most women, and this was reality, most women want a certain thing. There is a certain thing that they go towards. There's a certain thing that they're attracted to. Most women are attracted to stories that are grounded in reality, that deal with emotions, that deal with character interactions, because women are very emotional people. So they want things that tie into their emotions. So stuff that a guy with tights, flying, and all this kind of stuff, most women are like, no, no, that's not a thing. Only very few women, like normally, are into that stuff. Okay. Only very few women are into that kind of stuff, man. So it makes these studios doing this. It doesn't make any sense, because look, it's as if you want to lose money. Because if I was advising them, I'd say, guys, first off, women are not going to come and watch this film because women don't care about comic book movies and don't care about this genre of films. That's the first thing. Second thing, guys will probably not going to watch this film because guys are now they're now wisening up to what you're trying to do, which is that you're trying to force an agenda. And many people are saying, wait a minute, no, give us a normal film. Don't put an agenda in your film. So that's the thing, man. That's the thing. So I watched Temple of Doom was always my favorite Indiana Jones. 3 quality films. These are 3 quality films. But Temple of Doom was always my favorite, because watching it as a child and so forth, and the kind of imagery that was in the film, it was superb. That film was so superb. And but I can see why. Because Spielberg said that was the film that he liked the least, and it was a tough shoot. And I can understand why Spielberg didn't like the film, because Spielberg doesn't do dark and edgy, but I love dark and edgy, and I loved how edgy, and how creepy, and how off kilter the film was. Like, all 3 films are amazing. Like Raiders of the Lost Ark is the best film, because Raiders of the Lost Ark is like the best adventure film ever made. Like, Spielberg went chief Oga, like, in terms of directing that film, and that is arguably arguably Spielberg's best film. You know, I mean, we may have to do like a top 10 Spielberg version, but that is arguably Spielberg's best film, which is Raiders of the Lost Ark. But Temple of Doom was quality. But guys, so I want to know, so how many of you guys here haven't seen Back to the Future? Because we are hopefully going to try and do that to tonight. So my aim is Back to the Future tonight, the first one, then Back to the Future 2 next Wednesday. But the key thing, which is what I said in the video, that I want this to be for people who haven't seen Back to the Future before, because I want to introduce. Because I think if you haven't seen this, this is a must watch. This is one of those films that you have to watch. You just have to experience this thing because it is easily these two films, two of the greatest films ever made. So I just want to know how many guys in here. Okay, so She-Doc, man. Tonight, watch for the link. Watch for that link, man. Watch for that link coming through, man. It's not on. It's not on Netflix. It's on Amazon Prime. It might be on Netflix. But basically, I will do a screening of it tonight. I will post the link on the community page of the Half of Thought channel, and I'll maybe post the link on the video that I released. But yeah, tonight we're going to be doing it. So it probably be like around 11:30, 11:40 that will do it, man. So it's definitely quality. But yeah, look, just circling back on Tenet, man. I hope, this is my hope, because this COVID thing has really effed things up. And as I said again, and I think you guys will know, I'm a massive cinephile. I love movies, I love films. Because I'm a bit busy, I do try and watch at least one film every day. And that's hopefully what I'll be trying to do, to at least put in and watch a film every single day. And because it's like I love films. I am obsessed with films. So I do hope that cinemas can be back up, because I want to watch Tenet in the cinema, But for sure, there is no way in hell I'm watching Dune in the thing. Oh, you're from Suriname. Interesting. So shout out to what's it called? Sadov, Edgar Davids, all those dudes, man. So you're probably based in Holland, are you? But you see, because I think what I even wanted to do with this whole movie things is really expose you people to some of the truly great films, and that's why I want to do in these Wednesday watches, is because I mostly would rather want to do films that people haven't watched and introduce it to them, specifically classic films. Because even there, see, for me, I believe I've probably seen all the true major classic films. That's the thing. Like, I probably think that I've probably seen most of the classic films already. Because basically there's this massive book. I think I've got it in my house where 1,001 films to watch before you die. And I think what I do want to do is watch all of the essential films. Because, and I think I said this before, is that the difference between a film and TV. See, this is the best era we've ever had for television, and TV has actually superseded and gone better than films. When you look at The Wire, Breaking Bad, Boardwalk Empire, because the TV stuff in the past 10, 15 years, as opposed to back in the day, they're like extended films. Because TV shows back in the day were just like TV. But if you look at 24, that's like a film. If you look at stuff like The Wire, or even like Boardwalk Empire, the Boardwalk Empire, the directing and production is better than most films. It's better than most films. So that is key, man. That is key, man. That is key. So just what this guy say, man. Tom Holland has a new contract for 6 new movies as Spider-Man. Look, I said, look, I I said again, we still haven't gotten a is an amazing Spider-Man film that I would call truly iconic. We haven't had that yet. I will say this again. Tobey Maguire was a whiny little itch. Was a whiny little itch in those two films. I didn't want to bother with the third film because they botched up Venom. So for me, it's cool that he has 60 movies. All I ask for and all I beg for is please, please, please. I want a Spider-Man film that has nothing to do with the MCU and nothing to do with Iron Man. Because my biggest issue with Homecoming and the other movie was and Far From Home was your Iron Man's little boy. And this is Spider-Man. Bro, before this MCU, Iron Man was a C-level character. At best, he was a C-level character. But, it's messed up, man. It's messed up. Okay, let's see. Recommend me a classic film from any genre. Classic film from any genre. I think this is even one that me and Machine talked about. And because I think you mentioned drama. Well, this is a drama stroke thriller. Angel Heart with Mickey Rourke and De Niro. Crazy film, So there's either that or a really good drama. You should have watched A Time to Kill with Matthew McConaughey and Samuel L. Jackson. You should have watched that. But if you haven't watched that, that's actually a really good one to watch because that's also with Kiefer Sutherland as well. Another good drama. I think if you want to go heavy, if you want to go really heavy and really intense, Hamburger Hill. Probably one of the most brutal. Hamburger Hill is definitely one of the most brutal war films that you'll ever watch. Easily one of the most brutal war films that you'll ever watch. It is totally brutal, man. So yeah, those are the ones that I would recommend you giving a thing, man. Yeah, you see, that is one of my favorite villains of all time is Venom. Venom is incredible. I think in terms of just what he looks like and just the contrast between him and Spider-Man, I just love Venom. For me, I would say a Joker is an overrated villain. I'm like, okay, look, you're crazy, wow, because Venom is first of all, he looks cool. He looks really cool, and he's like a big bully. So, and he is always a very tough opponent for Spider-Man. Let's just keep it real. All Joker has is trickery. He's a clown. The dude is a clown. And that's always a laugh about Batman guys. How is Batman in the Justice League if you can't beat a clown? You're having issues with a clown, a guy with a revolver with half his face burnt off, and a dude with a question mark on his face, and a dude who calls himself the Penguin. You can't deal with those guys, but you want to now fight aliens like Apocalypse. Makes no sense. So yeah, look, but I think what they're building up towards is Sony are trying to merge Venom Carnage with Spider-Man. I think that's what they're building towards. Because for me, Venom as the hero or anti-hero is stupid. Is completely stupid. He's not a hero. Okay, he's the freaking villain, man. Sure. Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill. What do you mean by that? Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill Volume 1. What do you mean by that? Explain. Explique. Oh. Okay, this is good to end on. This is good to end on. Tarantino is better than Nolan. 100%. Let's keep it real. Chris Nolan's best films, it's either Memento or Prestige. Tarantino can give you drama, Pulp Fiction. He can give you superb action, like Kill Bill Volume 1. He can give you period, like Inglourious Bastards. He can give you, oh God, what's it called? An ensemble. He can give you a Western stroke ensemble piece, like either Django Unchained or Hateful Eight. Nolan can't do that. And also, Tarantino is a far better writer than Nolan. See, Nolan has good ideas, good concepts, but he is really bad at dialogue. His dialogue is really bad. Tarantino has some of the best dialogue we've ever had in film, and the way that the plot evolves is incredible. Tarantino for me, Tarantino is the greatest writer director of all time. Easily. He is. He's the greatest writer director of all time. And when you look at his resume is stellar. Because he's made, I think, 9 films now. For me, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, nah. Death Proof, nah. Apart from those 2 films, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill Volume 1, Volume 2, Inglourious Bastards, Django Unchained, Hateful Eight. These are superb films. These are absolutely top tier superb films. So yeah, man. He's on a different level, bro. No, no. See, a lot of people say that, but you simply can't, like, Nolan. Like, Nolan is good. Don't get me wrong. Nolan is good, but for sure. You see, writing is, because again, I've been like an amateur screenplay. When you're writing a screenplay, it's 2 things: plot, dialogue. Plot, dialogue. Sometimes, see, Nolan's strength is plot. That's what he's good at. But sometimes his plot can be convoluted and can be overly, not really, a bit too confusing, where he's not really executed it well. Nolan's dialogue is not good. His dialogue is not good. He relies too much on exposition and trying to explain the story through characters. Tarantino's plot and story is really good, because look at Django Unchained. Look at how the way in which that plot evolved. Hateful Eight, look at how that evolved. Pulp Fiction, that was superb. Absolutely genius. So, and Tarantino's dialogue is some of the best we've ever had. So, Nolan doesn't even come close to Tarantino in terms of dialogue. It's not even close. It's not even close. You see, Aaron Sorkin, I don't like his writing, but I do appreciate how good of a writer he is, because he did Social Network. You see, I think basically he wrote Social Network, and he wrote Jobs, the Steve Jobs biopic with Michael Fassbender in it. See, I preferred his writing on Social Network, because Social Network was a really good quality film. But I just don't like his writing. But I do admit that his writing is good, man. So they show the Nollywood films in Suriname. No, I don't really watch that much Nollywood. I watch a few. I watch mainly the Aki and Popo films. The 2 comedians. And I think Wedding Party, that's the best Nollywood film. Wedding Party, that's a great film. See, Prestige and Insomnia, no, those are good, but I'm looking at track record. Nolan's track record and his resume, for me, is better than Nolan's track record and resume. It simply is. And I think that's, and for me, Tarantino has made better films overall than Nolan has. You know, it is. I mean, it is just what it is. Like Tarantino is one of the great writer directors that we've ever seen. You know, he's absolutely amazing, man. You see, I've ne- I remember when this because I haven't seen Slumdog Millionaire, and you know what? Yeah, I should maybe view it, give it a watch, and so forth. But I've just like there are some films where like I can if I see the trailer for it, I know that film isn't for me. You know, I know that film isn't for me. I'm like, you know what? Nah, like no, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. That film in for me, man. Um, it's just without ruining anything. Can you tell me if Legend of Korra is worth watching? Watched the first 2 or 3 episodes and I don't really like it. I think it went way too. Um, it is worth watching, but what you have to keep in mind is don't compare it to Legend of Aang. Just watch it for what it is. If you watch it for what it is, take it as a completely thing as it's just doing its own thing. I think you will enjoy it more. If you watch it, but comparing it with Aang, then you won't enjoy it. Like for me, like Legend of Korra, like overall, like yeah, it was because there are some very, very interesting characters in it. Some interesting characters and some interesting story points, but you have to just say this is completely different from Aang. So don't even expect anything from the Aang series. And if you have that, I think you'll be in a better state, man. The worst Kubrick movie, the worst one that I've seen, because the Kubrick films that I've seen are Shining, Space Odyssey, Strange Love, which is his best film, and Clockwork Orange. His worst, for me, it's between Shining and Space Odyssey. That's just me. I know people call me crazy, but out of the films I've seen of him, it's between Shining and Space Odyssey. Again, both those films are superb directing, amazing cinematography. I'm just not feeling the films. The best thing about Shining is Jack Nicholson's performance. That's just the best thing about it. It's just how amazing Jack Nicholson is in the film because Jack Nicholson is superb in the film. And I think they said that something about how is that something about he doesn't like cheese, or there's a kind of food that he doesn't really like that really makes him sick and ill, and Kubrick pretty much brought that food on set to make Jack Nicholson have that kind of like grimace throughout the whole film and everything. And thing with Space Odyssey is I just don't understand. Again, amazing that directing, one of the best opening transitions of all time. I just don't understand the film. And if I don't understand the film, I don't know how much I can. No. Oh no, sorry, that's the other dude. Sorry, that's Terrence Malick. As well, because I was about to say Tree of Life, or Tree of Life is Terrence Malick. Now, Terrence Malick, that is the most pretentious director of all time. Those guys' films are the most arrogant films you'll ever watch. Terrence Malick. It's like this guy doesn't give a flying F about plot or story. He just doesn't care about the audience that are watching his films. Like Terrence Malick, that dude is just he's madman. Best young director. I think it's between Ryan Coogler and what's the name of that dude that did the drumming film? Is it? Yeah, it's basically God, what's it? Basically the director of Whiplash. Wait, Whiplash director. Damien Chazelle is between those two. Ryan Coogler, Damien Chazelle. I can't really pick between those two. I think they are two extremely good directors, man. Two extremely good directors. I mean,
For Kugler, Fruitvale Station, quality. Creed, flipping, amazing. Creed, his best film. And for me, Black Panther, for what he did in Black Panther, that was really well done. For a guy that young, that was really well done. Damien Chazelle, Whiplash, superb, absolutely superb film. I see. Even if I didn't even watch the full film because I was like, the film I did with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, just from a directorial point of view, I'm like, oh wow, this is amazing. For he was able to achieve that. Because I was going to say Barry Jenkins, but I think Barry Jenkins is a bit older. But I know that Chazelle and Kugler, they're actually really quite young. So yeah, those are definitely the best young ones. And I think and I see now if those guys are, you see, those are the guys that you would say, you know what, give them like, rather than giving bricks, money and all that kind of stuff, give these guys the money to do their thing, man. Yeah, like give those guys the money to pretty much do all those things, man. Thoughts on Michael Bay? I feel he should be in the Brick Academy. Poor dialogue, disjointed storylines. Well, it's funny you say this. It's funny you say this. It's funny you say this. All right, let's see. It's funny you say this. Let me just bring this up. Well, he isn't in the Brick Academy, but I may have to induct, and I'll tell you why he isn't in the Brick Academy. So, wait. All right, so this is the what is it? Oh, sorry. There we go. There we go. So he's currently under review, along with the Chinese government and Kanye West. But the reason why I see Michael Bay isn't a brick because he is actually talented. It's just that his sensibilities are just really cheesy. But for what he does what he does very well. He does what he does very well in terms of massively epic, huge explosions, frenetic action, and he always comes under budget. So he's like, and that is a talent to be able to do crazy action scenes, massive set pieces, and never go over budget. That is an incredibly good skill because it is very hard to do huge, massive scenes and have a blockbuster that doesn't go over budget. But he and that's what guys say. He always comes under budget, and that's, for me, you have to say, is impressive. Just that he's got very cheesy sensibilities, man. Extremely cheesy sensibilities, man. So let's just see. HH, do you stream movies or prefer the Blu-ray version? It's funny you say this. Normally, I was like, no. I want the disc. I want the Blu-ray. I want the quality. I want all that stuff before. But I think in terms of convenience, man, I think for me, it is much more convenient to do streaming. And I think I found streaming a lot more popular. So what I'm now doing, because normally basically what I did in the last few years was I pretty much buy all of my favorite films. I bought them on CD and have my CD case. But what I just think is probably much more wiser and much more convenient and better, rather than, okay, I have to now open up my CD, open up my disc, bring out like my PS4, my Xbox, is basically buy them on digital. So really, I just go to my movie section, I go through and buy it. But the thing though is this: what if you don't have internet? Or what if you're traveling to a place that doesn't have internet? Then that is where the disc comes in handy, because there may be a time where I think we are maybe like about 10 or 15 or 20 years away from not having. Obviously, in like 10, 15 years, every single place will have internet. So internet will be like having water or basic necessity. Say internet will be a basic necessity that everybody has and everybody has a right to. So before we get there, I still have like my Blu-ray discs, of all of my favorite films, because I always say, like for instance, I should, yeah, I'm gonna get the Blu-ray of Edge of Tomorrow, one of my favorite films of all time, superb film. But I'm reading the manga of it. All you need is kill to do that whole thing, man. So, yes, yeah, I haven't watched The Boys yet. I know people keep talking to me about it. I will put it on the list. That you know what? Yeah, that's will probably be my next TV watch. That'll probably be my next TV watch. Since I've done the whole Korra and Avatar thing, that'll probably be my next TV watch, man. Yeah, oh yeah, no, yeah, what's it called? Like basically, my cousin, he had like a hard drive, and he had like about 200, 300 films all on this hard drive. So whenever I used to go to his house, he'd be like, "Yo, man, what do you want to watch?" Just plug in the hard drive. All those films will be there, and we'll just watch them, But I think more and more people see. Remember, we went from VHS to DVDs, from DVDs to Blu-rays, and I believe now it will now be Blu-rays will soon become obsolete, and what you will find is high 4K definition of streaming films, and I think even on Netflix, sometimes because you will see the icon. There are some films and some stuff that have 4K visuals and 4K sound. Because I told you, man, like guys, my surround sound is man, that is my pride and joy is my Dolby surround sound. Because I told you, like, sound is so important to me. It's so important to me. All right, guys, look, man. So remember, like the vid. I'm gonna watch these matches right now. After the stream tonight, Back to the Future Cinema Club live watch. Join me for the Back to the Future live watch with your boy HH, so we can get down and do our things, man. So I will post the link on the YouTube community page, and I'll see you guys there. So I'll see you guys later on tonight. For those guys who haven't seen it, for those guys who have not seen the Back to the Future, I'll be there for you guys. Peace out. Become a Half Hope Sort member and gain access to exclusive videos and also the chance to watch films, anime, or different videos with your boy HH exclusively. Just click below on the join button to join in and become a Half Hope Sort member to gain access to these perks. Just click on the community icon over here to view the new members only posts just for you.